Hi, I am Christine. I've been pretty sick with a lot of health conditions for too many years. You've seen me on here before talking about fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, hypoglycemia, and then recently I got a tick-borne illness and some co-infections that go along with it. Um, my gut health has been a really big struggle, and that has caused me to not be able to eat very many things. So the last uh, the last few weeks, I've been researching the carnivore diet because just people have been talking to me about it, and I found some people on YouTube here that are sick like me, and the diet has been a really big help to them. And so um, I decided to look into it. It's almost like, think of it like an elimination diet. Um, I know a lot of people panic when they hear carnivore diet because it's so restrictive. Um, but for me, I I couldn't eat anything except for meat, broccoli, and corn of all things. Everything else, I literally would puke it up. Um, but not enough to actually lose weight. Which, oh, so irritating. Um, anyways, so we got to the point where we were like, okay, I have to totally change my eating. And we'd already cut out all the simple carbs. We cut out rice, pasta, potato, bread, gluten. Every now and then, like once a week or so, I would have something and it would make me sick for a couple days. So it really was a good deterrent to keep me away from that stuff. But then in the past year, more and more vegetables and fruits started to make me sick. And so I had to I've been looking into so many options. And one of the things that we were looking into is vegan or vegetarian because I've heard so much about how it reduces inflammation. But then Tim and I were talking about it, my husband Tim, and it was like, well, what would I eat? I'm allergic to like 99% of all of these things. This wouldn't work. But I was really like thinking, what if it could work? What if I could just the few things I can eat? What if I just did that? Um, but it just was like, no, like it'll raise my blood sugars too high. Without any protein or animal fats, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Um, and then looking into the carnivore diet, you're cutting out all the things that could cause inflammation, which for me are all the fruits and vegetables and carbs. Like literally, meat kind of is the last thing that I can have. And so um, it makes sense for me to do the carnivore diet. And I've watched so many amazing videos on YouTube, and I'm so thankful for the wisdom and the knowledge and the history and the science. And there's so many doctors that have done all the studies on this that really do believe that it won't harm your health. There are a couple things that are important. You should probably get some beef organs or beef organ pills, which is definitely my preference. I'm not eating liver or kidneys or heart or any, like, I just, when I was a kid, we had to, mom, of course, being a good mother, made us healthy food, and liver was on the rotation. And I am telling you, it still just makes me when I think about it. So I just ordered some pills. I've been on the carnivore diet for 4 days now. So the first 2 days I actually used goat milk. It just sort of helped me with that transition away from all the carbs and sugars and stuff. But it actually wasn't too hard because there was so little that I could have already that my body was kind of already transitioning to more just eating more meats because it was the only thing that didn't make me sick. If you've researched the carnivore diet, there's so many different ways to do it. You can go really strict, like the Lion diet, which is just ruminant meat. Rumen You know what I mean? Where the animals have more than one stomach. Anyways, there's those. And that kind of meat, water and salt. And that's literally all you can have. And it just cuts out all the options that could be causing inflammation in your body. So there's that, and then there's all the way to the other side where it's almost keto, where you're doing carnivore, but you're eating a lot of spices and herbs, and you've got sauces, and you're eating a lot of eggs and dairy and all like more options, right? But still no veggies and fruit. Some people, I mean, I don't know if you'd call them carnivore, but they say they're carnivore, but then they're adding in some fruit and some vegetables here and there. So there's the whole gamut of options for you. For me, because it's such a health issue, I'm trying to go as strict as I can. I'm working on the ruminant meats. I tried lamb today. I didn't mind it, but it wasn't my favorite. But it didn't make me gag. We had we bought some ground beef from the store a few days ago and cooked it up with some bacon, like with all the nitrates, that kind of bacon. And I was literally gagging on it, like I could barely get it down. And so it was a big frying pan of it. So then we had it again the second day, and oh my word, you got to get good meat. That is the most important part. Find somewhere that has reliably good meat that doesn't stink, and that you'll be able to eat it. So we've had beef sirloin steak is one of my favorites, and because it's always fresh and it always has a good smell, and I put lard on top of it because that's my fat, because sirloin doesn't have a lot of fat in it, so I put that on top. They say it should be 1-to-1 fat to protein ratios, so and that's been working for me. I've done bacon for breakfast just about every day with some beef jerky. But I'm not doing this as a belief system. This isn't. I'm not like a radical preaching from the street about carnivore lifestyle and how evil vegetables and fruit are. Doing this because everything makes me sick, and so I mean I'm only 4 days in. We've been researching it for a few weeks, and I just know that as long as it will help me, that's the plan. And so far I'm feeling okay. It's not making me feel worse, which was something that scared me. My health, with all of those labels of illnesses that I have, that doesn't include years of antibiotics, living on antibiotics as a anti-malarial when I lived in Africa for a few years. That doesn't include all of the pain meds from my endometriosis for most of my life, PCOS, just really, really bad things going on in there. And the gut damage that those kinds of things do over time. And having malaria 5 times and taking malaria medications, and there's so much going on that by the time a year ago hit, when I figured out that it was actually a tick-borne illness, I was having these attacks regularly that look like a panic attack, but it's not. It's totally like I don't know if you've heard of postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, but my body just couldn't keep up with any kind of raise in body temperature, any kind of excitement, any kind of change in posture. If I bent over and I couldn't breathe, then I would be literally laying on the floor trying to catch my breath for half an hour and just heaving and breathing so heavy that I just, I've had panic attacks. I know the difference, and these aren't panic attacks. So there's something going on around my heart, and we found out that it's something to do with the lymph around my heart is weak. And then the reason that my body is not detoxing properly is because my kidneys are weak as well. So those are two things that we've been focusing on with my Lyme protocols and all that's involved with that. All of that to say, by the time I started on the carnivore diet and researching the carnivore diet, my health had taken a pretty big nosedive. I was pretty much bedridden, and those attacks were happening 2 or 3 times a day, and it would take me an hour. Like I would just have to lay on the floor or the ground wherever I was for like an hour. Then I started researching it after I had started to move past those attacks. So bedridden still, but not having attacks, thankfully. And I'm on other protocols, of course, for my Lyme and all the other things. But the carnivore diet on top of that, I think, is going to make a really big difference. And I'm super hopeful, and I'm excited. And so I just wanted to pop in here and share a little bit with you guys. My brain fog is really bad a lot of the time, so it's hard for me to focus, and my brain kind of wanders off like ADHD. And I have so much that I want to say, and then I get derailed, which I'm sure you're noticing as you're following along. But yeah, that's what's going on right now, and I hope that you'll follow along on my journey. I'll be posting as I can. Like I said, the brain fog it can be debilitating. Tonight I'm okay because I had a week off of my my Lyme protocols, just to give my body a rest, to recoup a little bit before we get back into that intense detox for the next few months. So my brain's working a little bit. So we'll see if I'm able to continue posting my videos and letting you know how things are going this way. So I will post some of my favorite tips and what's going on there. Anyways, God bless you guys. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.